My twin and I are fraternal twins. Recently, we took a genetic test for fun because we wanted to see what we shared and the differences between us. Since we still share genes, fraternal twins are like siblings genetically. My grandparents had also suggested the test and got them for us, so our parents didn't know about it. But our results made no sense. My twins was coming up with almost completely as Eastern European and Western European, which makes sense as most of the family is Croatian, German, and Austrian. So all of that would be accurate. But mine wasn't saying anything like that. I was almost completely Scandinavian with some Russian and a couple other places, neither of which were on my twin's result. She had a very small percentage of Scandinavian, but that was it. We had no matched DNA, which clearly seemed impossible. We're literally twins. We have to share the DNA. My twin said that they must have mixed up my sample with someone else's because this doesn't make sense. We ended up contacting the company and my twin and I took the test again. It was the same result. Both my twin and I were really confused. We told our grandparents that, and they said that was interesting and said nothing else. My twin said we should tell our parents and see if they've ever done a genetic test, or if any of our siblings had, or if we could see if somehow ours was still right. Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of made sense that I'd have some Scandinavian because I'm much taller than my mother and quite a bit taller than my twin, and I'm way better at football and handball than she is.
There's a little bit of African in there, fam.
She got some Mbappe there still, not gonna lie. When we told our mother, they reacted the same. They reacted almost the same as my grandparents did, but seemed annoyed. And said that they're inaccurate anyways, and our grandparents shouldn't have taken the test for us. When we asked our father, he basically said nothing. I'm confused. I know my twin thinks it's just a mistake, but I don't think so. We have to share DNA, about 50%. That's how twins and siblings work. Even though we're fraternal, we still should share quite a bit of DNA, but other explanations don't make sense. Mm-hmm. My mother can't have cheated on my father because my twin and I would still share the same DNA, just less, because we would have different fathers. The results mean we can't share a parent or even be related, but I don't see why my parents would adopt me if I'm not their child when I don't think they've ever been to any Scandinavian country, and why they'd adopt a baby that's almost exactly the same age as their baby. I'm panicking. The person I'm closest with in the world, who I thought I even shared the womb with, might not even be related to me at this point. My birthday might not even be real.
Facts.
None of this makes sense anymore, and no one is telling me the truth. I'm also scared that my twin might tell her boyfriend about it, and then people might end up knowing that I'm some kind of a fraud and that my family isn't a family at all. Mm-hmm. Please, Reddit, tell me what I should do here.
That's wild.
What a journey.
Scandinavian's Germanic descent, right?
I don't know.
I think that's like, what are the Scandinavian countries?
But she said Dutch for her twin, right?
Region of Europe.
All we gotta know is they're not related. Why do you
Denmark,
have to go into the
Norway, Sweden, Finland. These are the northern countries, or the northern countries of Europe, as opposed to the east and the west.
Gotcha.
So
I just wanted to get some education, get some learning.
I got you.
Mystery,
what you get from the Coffee Break podcast.
So is she asking what she should do?
Yeah.
That's crazy though, because
she said, "What should my next steps be when no one in my family is telling me anything?"
It kind of sounds like there's a possibility where she was kind of kidnapped. You know,
interesting.
Because nobody's talking to her about her whereabouts.
Yeah.
Clearly, they did it twice. Because maybe if it happened once, it would have been a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It happened twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it has to be 100% true that they're not related.
Right.
You know. So for her parents, was it her grandparents too that were kind of like, oh, I don't know anything about this?
They did the test. The grandparents were okay with doing the test, the genetic test, but they didn't share the reasons why they were separate results.
So you think the grandparents know?
They have to be in on it.
Why would they do that if they knew about the situation at first?
They were trying to leave breadcrumbs and saying, yo, like, you guys should know the truth.
Or they have
That's why they're being coy. As soon as they found out and said, yo, what's going on?
Yeah.
They're being coy about it. They didn't seem shocked, but they didn't provide any
They dismissed it.
Yeah, so they basically...
You think they gave them the avenue to find out more about themselves?
Exactly.
Why not just tell them then?
Huh?
Why not just tell them?
Because they probably feel, like I would feel, yo, even though I wouldn't do that, they probably feel you guys should know, go ask your parents.
Then why didn't they just say that in the first place?
I guess they wanted proof. Like imagine somebody just told you right now, you're not your parents' kid.
Okay.
There's gonna be a little bit of doubt, you know, like be like, who the hell are you to say that? Why are you even saying that? But if there's proof that the DNA shows otherwise, chances are you'd believe that over me saying it, right?
Yeah.
So I think they wanted a little bit more evidence when they found out the truth.
You
Compared
think
to,
the grandparents didn't know either?
I think the grandparents knew, but think if they were to just say it flat out, there's a little bit of
There's no truth to it?
yeah. There could be truth, but there's a little bit of you could be lying to me, you know.
But why
Compared
would
to
they
if I was to have a whole test dedicated to the whole purpose of what I'm saying, chances are you believe me more.
want them to know that?
Why would they? Maybe to the point they're leaving crumbs for them to find out who they actually are. You know.
And instead of just
Detective shit, figure it out.
instead of just outright saying it, they gave them the opportunity to be excited about it, go in like open-minded
Mhm.
without anything weighing on their mind, and see for themselves, and then go back to the parents instead of just saying, "Hey, this is what the case is."
Yeah.
They something would have came out in the house.
Yeah, I would think some type of way if my parents didn't tell me. One, if they didn't tell me, and two, the way they reacted, because it kind of looks like I was stolen at that point.
Could be.
And they don't want people to know. I read a story one time where a girl found out halfway that her.
Or you could have been saved.
That too.
Yeah.
But chances are, if you're somebody who would save a kid, you'd also be open enough to tell them when they understood that they're not yours. You know.
That's true.
You know, like if you're a good enough person to save a child, you're a good enough person to tell them.
But like depending on the circumstances that the person was saved from, like it might be tough to.
But that's not your choice to make. Let me know that my parents were bad, and I'll decide if I ever want to.
Well, this person's 18, right? So they're just now entering adulthood. I feel like now is probably it's all coincidental that they're looking for their identity and stuff like that. But it would be a good time to tell the parents to tell the child.
But they didn't.
Remember? You remember Smart Guy?
Yeah, I do.
Remember when Mo found out he was adopted?
Yeah, I remember.
I don't remember that.
You guys remember that, right? And he went all this whole avenue of trying to find his parents.
And his mom didn't care.
And his mom did not care. She basically said, "You have 5 minutes for you. You got to get out after that."
Yeah.
Damn.
That's to sum up her reaction and her manner and everything like that. Then he was like angry at his adopted parents, saying, "You guys should have told me. I don't know who I am anymore," and all this other stuff, and started living in the garage of the Smart Guy's family.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then at the end of the episode, he realized, you guys did the best.
They were protecting me, and so there could be some reasons to it. I think that this person should ask the grandparents more because they seem like they're more open to giving the right information. I feel like the parents just shutting it down dead means that they might not be okay with talking about it yet, or might not be open to discussing that yet. But the grandparents they're giving clues, like you're saying. Probe. I would say
my
probe.
parents sound like criminals at that point.
It could be, but they could be heroes at the same time. You know, like it's one of the two. Like two
but
sides
if you're a
of the
hero,
coin.
you're more likely to share the heroism with the like.
But sometimes the gravity of what you saved the person from is like we can't. I don't even want to think about.
But that's not your choice to make. Let me decide if it's too crazy.
But an 18-year-old kid.
18 is fine. Like you can share with them information and hope for them to.
Graphic information.
Just give them the bare minimum. Be like, yo, at the end of the day, I'm not your mom and dad. That's all you got to say. And be like,
I don't know.
These are your
tough saying
parents,
that.
and I don't feel comfortable. They gave them to me. Like, I'm just creating a random story. Your parents gave me you when you were younger because they couldn't trust that they could raise a kid on their own. So I took the task on raising you, and I didn't want to share with you until you were a certain age because they come from a certain background that I didn't want you to be affiliated with.
Right.
If they were to be like that 18, I'll be like, I'll probably be a little hurt, but I'll be like, all right, I feel you. You took care of me. But if for them to just be like, how'd you find out, fam?
You're like, about that.
Yeah, 20 years ago, somebody else. Like, what the hell? Like, share with me. I'm not, like, 18, you understand life. Not perfectly, but you understand it well enough to make your own inferences and to come up with your own conclusions, you know? They're not giving her, the girl, right? The ability to find out. That's what I think she should, to your point, I think she should go to the grandparents. Yeah. And be like, well, go on, tell me more.
Be like, yo, my mom and dad are not saying shit. Yo, break it down for me right now. Break it down, the whole story.
They had if they were going to say something, they had the opportunity.
No, I'm saying she should corner them and pressure them to say, yo, break it down for me. I'm not leaving here till I find out. Where am I from?
I feel like they probably felt, yo, this is not our place to completely have this conversation. Right. But this is you should have the avenue to go figure shit out.
No, they opened the door.
They opened the door, but they wouldn't, they're not starting the car.
They gave the parents the opportunity to fess up.
And they didn't.
So now I'm going back to the source.
Yeah, I'm going back to parents. If I'm the girl, I'm going back to my grandparents saying, all right, those niggas didn't say shit.
Yeah,
What's
tell
going
me
on here?
what's happening. They're more likely to be like, yo, this is what actually happened compared to before, you know?
They're not gonna say go ask your parents again.
Yeah.
Right?
They may create a circumstance where everyone sits down as a family.
Yeah. I just think that there's also a scenario in which where this information may be kind of harmful and that they're trying to protect the child from it. But you're right. They deserve to know. They deserve to know at least that they're not in the family, like biologically.
Because they're still my parents.
But that's also going to lead to like, you know, like not assumption, but that's going to lead to curiosity of where this person is actually from. That could lead to somewhere else.
I deserve to have that right to know where I
maybe
come
not
from.
yet.
At 18?
Maybe not at 18.
I think I deserve to. What? Are you going to tell me at 30?
20.
Oh,
21.
2 years makes a
21.
difference? 3 years?
Yeah. That makes a huge difference.
I don't think it makes a difference, to be honest.
I think it makes a huge difference. I think it's just too early.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't tell them, but at the same time too, I'm like, I can see why, if the circumstances were like severe,
yeah,
I could see a reality in where the parents would be kind of like.
Let me ask you.
Okay.
Let me ask you something. Both of you, actually. Let's say I was a terrible person, and I had a kid, and I gave both of you my kid. Okay.
Well, I'm not trying to be a couple here.
Okay. Let's say individually. Let's
fuck, man.
Let's say in each scenario I had 2 kids. I gave one of you guys my kid. Okay. And let's say I'm not fit to be a parent. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you are, and you take on the role of parenthood for me.
Right.
At what age do you think you should tell them about me? Because let's say I'm off the map. I'm off the grid.
That's a tough question, man.
Would you ever share with them that you're not the real father?
I would.
What would you say?
I'd say I'm not your.
At what age?
I don't know, man.
Because right now you said 21. 25. Damn.
I don't know, man. I say 21 because that's like a ballpark number where I feel like somebody could, you know, like they're just getting involved as being an adult in society. They're understanding things. But sometimes people are immature for their age. Sometimes people are more mature at a younger age. Like it depends on where they are, really.
Does it change if I sober up? If I become a better person?
Well, if you were just an alcoholic,
you said off the map, though.
That's different.
Yeah, let's say I come back in the picture, and I went through whatever, and I'm better as a human being. Would that change, like, the timeline of when you share them about me?
No.
So even if I sober up and become a better human being, you still wouldn't.
If I had to take that child away from you because you weren't able to raise them properly, then
you wouldn't give them back.
No, they're not going back.
Give them back. What?
They're not going back.
Am I choosing still the age that we do this, or are you choosing the age right now that you're coming back?
No. I just threw in another random scenario. Let's say I sober up and I become a better human being.
That doesn't change anything.
That doesn't change the timeline. Pardon?
Still at the age I chose?
Yeah. Still, would that 25 come down to 20? Come down to 19?
No, I would still tell whatever that is, as long as it's early to mid 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I would give them the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm never gonna hold on to that information forever. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm gonna guard that information as best as I can till they're able to understand.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Because now you're the reason I chose 25. You're self-sufficient. If some people with 25, they're living in their own cribs.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to. They're not relying on anybody. So in the case that you come back in the picture, and however messed up or however good you are, that child's not relying on me or you.
Not a child. Yeah, it's grown up.
They're our child.
I'm saying at that point that at 25 they'll be mature enough to.
They're an adult, so they can rely on themselves,
right?
Okay,
and choose the type of relationship they want with you, instead of having to rely on someone.
So are you scared that they wouldn't see you as a father anymore?
No, that wouldn't.
Like, why does 25 have to happen? That's my question. Why is it all the way at 25?
Because just in case that the parent that's messing up chooses and says, I want my child back.
Yeah.
How can they want their child back at 24 or 23?
Yeah.
Exactly. They wouldn't. I just chose 25, just the adult. They wouldn't. There's no way that whatever mess up that as an adult that the person has, that wouldn't affect the adult that is now the child.
Okay.
So they don't rely on whatever your shortcomings.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a relationship, the good side, the bad side as the shortcomings of a parent. It could be friendship now.
Yeah.
So you're saying when they become an adult?
Yeah, that's why I said 25.
Okay.
I agree with you guys, but I just think it's a little too late, you know?
I don't know.
think like that 18 to 20 is perfect.
18 to 20, you're still relying on the parent, though.
Yeah, but
So now that
they can
parent
still rely on me. And I can still share with them the truth.
flip the situation to you.
Okay.
18 years old. The older parent comes back in the picture. What do you do?
What do you mean? Like I find out through my actual parent that that's not my real parents?
Yeah, but you like the scenario that you put that
What?
that parent that gave up the child has
Yeah.
come back now.
Yeah.
They're a bit sober, and
No,
they
they-
want back into the child's life at 18 years old.
Well, as a parent, at 18, I don't really hold any responsibility. Like, what I'm trying to say is they can do whatever the hell they want. They're 18, they're an adult, they can make their own decisions technically, you know? So at that
I
point,
disagree.
you don't control an 18-year-old.
Legally, but they're still immature.
No, but they can literally leave the house and be like, I'm out.
Legally, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not mature enough to make certain decisions yet, in my opinion.
But they can. You know?
Legally, they can.
It's
I'm
different.
talking morally.
It's different because 17, you have hack over them. 18, you technically you do, but they're at the point where they can really make their own decisions. Like, let's say if they want, if the father actually came, they can go live with that person without
He's
your.
talking about legally. You're talking about
Yeah, I'm talking morally.
Yeah, but
Not legally, though.
true. But I'm saying like, if it was me and somebody came in the picture and I found out through my actual parent that those people are not my parents, I'll feel hurt. Like, why are you telling me?
Yeah.
Why am I finding out through a source that I never even knew? You know,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't snake my actual parents and be
Mhm.
like, I'm out.
Mhm.
But I'll be hurt if I found out through
Somebody else.
X person
Yeah.
instead of the person who should be. You know,
Right.
Mhm.
so I would want to know as early as possible, like 18.
See, that's the difficult thing.
But you're assuming I wouldn't be able to internalize that.
No, but in case, if given the opportunity, if it forces the situation like the situation you gave,
Yeah.
where the parent comes back, then that forces you to provide that information earlier. Later, if that person, we don't know how the child's going to react at whatever age. So you're right. Some are mature that they're able to process the information and move forward in a mature manner. Some will start going through an identity crisis, like Mo did in Smart Guy, where he's just looking for his parents
Mhm.
and has to process it outside
Mhm.
and away from you, and says, "Yeah, I can't be in this household." So it depends. So the older they are, the more sufficient they are, that they're not relying on me as much, the less likely they crash out and do some stupid go drive to another state and try to go figure that out, try to go look for the parents.
But you don't think, fam, that's a fault on your parenting if you don't think your child deserves that would act out on information?
But
Like you never built them or raised them to kind of internalize their thoughts and emotions like that. You don't think that's your fault?
do you I honestly believe?
What?
Right now, you and like me and my siblings, you and your siblings,
Yeah.
you guys not all the same people.
Sure.
We don't all react to the same with information. I may be more of a calm presence. You may be more erratic.
Okay.
We were raised in the same household, but at a younger age. Right now, we're in the 20s. We may be more calm.
Okay.
At a younger age, regardless of the environment we were raised in, some people are more mellow. Some people are more erratic with how they deal with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So, regardless, the parents have built a stable environment. It will not stop that person's emotions from going wherever they will.
Okay. But you don't think as a parent raising somebody for 18 years, you don't know how to share information with them without acting out?
The last, I know it's a different video, but the last argument we had
Mm-hmm.
was a father saying what he said to the child and the child reacting a certain way, and the father coming back to the mother and saying, "This is what the child said to me." You know how to react to your parents.
That's different though. That came out of a frustration. If I was to come to you, it wouldn't be, if I'm telling you about your real parents, it would come from a place of kindness and be like, yo, this actually happened.
But
it's not a place where, yo, get the hell out of my car type of thing, you know?
No, I'm accepting the information, but me processing it may take me in a variety of ways.
I feel like your maturity level has to be,
exactly.
High.
18 may
has
not
to
be that.
Yeah, 18 might be a little bit too immature to fully process that information the way you would want them to. And it's not on your parenting. It's just on where the person is in their life at that point. They could be mature enough to process that at 16. You just don't know. It's just, I think that naturally, generally, 18 is just young to have a lot of serious life-changing information given to you like that, right? And I feel like what you're saying, I kind of coincide with what Mukhtar's saying, is like when they're an adult, they're at least self-sufficient enough to take on that scenario any way they want because they have the the wherewithal to take care of themselves, you know,
Okay,
as opposed to like leaving my crib or like something drastic, you know,
Mhm.
something drastic I can avoid. I'd rather just, you know, hold it till they can fully understand that.
And we
Okay.
we as adults right now, half of our life was outside and half of our life was inside the house. The parents are raising their children, yes, but the environment's raising them as well. So whoever's outside, let's say whoever they confide in, what can feed that ego, can feed that emotion. And they can partially be at fault of what they say to that person. Oh, this is how I would react. Oh, this is like 4 different people telling you
I
an
disagree.
opinion may set you a different way.
I don't agree. Yeah, 50. I don't get me wrong. Like, I grow as a human being outside of my home, but the moral compass comes from the home. That's
Well,
what I believe.
We're putting this on. We're not. This is not you.
But I'm giving you an example of when I would tell my kid. So
Yeah.
I'm telling how would she move forward with this, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this was me and my child was adopted, I would hope that the way I raised them enough, they're able to internalize information using the tools that I provided them growing up.
Yeah.
You telling them this isn't something that just comes randomly. We would obviously have had talks. This is not our first serious conversation. Like, you guys are assuming that out of the 18 years, this is the first time you gave them any serious topics
But
that
this is
they're
the
able.
That's the story though. They're saying
No,
they're
but
getting a genetic
yeah,
test.
but the point I'm making is, at the end of the day, I think what she should do is get more in depth as to where she came from, right? But we're bouncing this off to the scenario that I.
You were saying what could be the
earlier.
reason why the parents would withhold this information? That's pretty much the question here.
They're terrible people, probably. You know.
I
Or
think
they're criminals.
differently. I think it's more so they're trying to, depending on what the situation could be with the actual biological parents, they could be there's a scenario or there's a reality where the parents could be doing the child a favor by not giving them this information right now.
Let me know that though.
But you're right. They at this point they pretty much deserve to know since they've been doing all this legwork and research and shit. So I agree. At the same time, too, I think there's also to note there can be shitty people out there, and you don't want your child to, you don't want your child to pursue any like real negative life aspects. Like, let's say, just hypothetically, let's say that the biological parent just got out of jail, and is now like rehabilitated or something like that. Just even like the concept of prison and rehabilitation is very early for a 18-year-old child to comprehend. They could just really just see it as, this is my actual father. Let me go and, connect with them. And they could just be getting themselves in a world of crime. You never know. There's just so much avenues you can possibly take that the parents could potentially, and this is all just hypothetical, could potentially be saving the child from. So I don't know. I feel like I'd get to those grandparents, man.
Get them
grab him by the shirt, yo. Against the wall, like, yo.
He grabbed him by the shirt.
One here. Be like, yo.
To old people, right?
Yeah, to old people.
You pieces.
Yeah. Kick their canes.
Okay, so you think she should do that, right?
Yeah, I think she should press her grandparents.
No, I think I don't know if pressing the grandparents would get them there because they had the opportunity to tell from the beginning.
Right.
I'd just say sit down with all the siblings, let them know this is what the situation is, saying that this is what I found out. We deserve to have some further information because this is, for me, I don't know how many other siblings there are, but this can be the circumstance for you guys too. So we should try to either speak to them as a group, because that may be, they can brush off one person.
Yeah.
They can't brush off like 3, 4.
Interesting. Okay.
So if we're all sitting down and saying, yo, this is what we found out, we want some additional information, I don't believe they can brush them off. So take that avenue. And the rest of the siblings, if you want to go get some blood work first to see what your DNA says.
The twin was related to them though.
No, but they said siblings. They have other siblings.
Okay.
So
I see what you're saying. Get united as a front with siblings, and then seek the information
this
together.
Is the environment that we. Otherwise, we're all going to be upset if we don't want to. If you guys don't want to provide us with information, because you're leaving a gap right now in our knowledge.
Okay, and I agree with you guys.
We want to hear what you know, though. Tell us what you think. Give us some feedback. Is this person? Are they pursuing the right thing? Are they not? You tell us. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. These are your boy.
Sorry.
All right, I'm done.
Yo, my man. Yo.
Go ahead.